Hello there, and welcome, fellow traveler. You've just stepped aboard another gentle voyage with the sleepy Interstellar Voyager. This is a place where curiosity gets cozy, where the universe slows down to match your breathing, and where science drifts like a lullaby, carrying you softly toward rest. Before we drift too far into the cosmos tonight, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you enjoy these quiet interstellar journeys, if they help your thoughts unwind after a long day, if they bring you that peaceful moment you've been searching for, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It may seem like a simple gesture, but each new subscriber is like another star joining our constellation, guiding this little vessel further and further through the unknown, helping us reach other dreamers who need this same gentle escape. And don't forget that small bell icon, that tiny cosmic chime that will whisper to you when the next voyage is ready, ensuring you never miss the chance to join us again on another slow, starlit expedition through the mysteries of space. And if you feel especially generous tonight, a quiet like on this journey helps our sleepy spacecraft reach others, wanderers and explorers, insomniacs and deep thinkers who may be searching for the same calm corner of the universe, the same gentle rhythm, the same soft escape into wonder. So thank you, dear traveler, for being here in this moment, for helping keep this voyage alive. With your presence, our little ship shines just a little brighter in the darkness. Now, let us prepare for tonight's extraordinary journey. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly, like stardust drifting into the void. Allow your shoulders to drop, your jaw to relax, your body to grow heavier, sinking into whatever surface holds you, while your mind grows lighter, ready to float among galaxies. Tonight, our voyage will carry us to one of the most mysterious places in all of creation, to the very edge of the known universe, to a place so strange, so impossible, that even light itself cannot escape its pull. The black hole. Some say, beyond it, there is only nothing, a void so complete that existence itself ceases to have meaning. Others imagine doorways to other universes, new realities spinning in dimensions we cannot comprehend, entire cosmos hidden just past the darkness. But no matter what lies beyond that mysterious threshold, one thing is certain. It is a place where the fabric of space-time bends like silk in a gentle breeze, where minutes stretch into hours, where the very concept of beyond takes on new meaning, and where imagination itself can wander endlessly through possibilities. So close your eyes, if you wish. Let go of the weight of today, the conversations that linger, the tasks that wait for tomorrow, and come with me as we begin our slow, peaceful descent into the heart of a black hole. What happens beyond? Let's discover together in the softest way possible. As we drift closer to our destination, you may notice something beautiful happening around us. The stars behind us, those familiar points of light that have guided humanity for millennia, begin to shift and stretch, their light bending in impossible, graceful arcs, like brushstrokes painted across the canvas of night. This is the first gentle sign that we are approaching something truly extraordinary. The event horizon. The event horizon. Let that phrase roll softly through your mind. Event horizon. It sounds almost peaceful, doesn't it? Like watching a sunset from a quiet hill, or waiting for dawn at the edge of an ocean. Scientists describe it as a boundary, but not a wall, not a fence, not a surface you could touch. Imagine instead standing on the shore of a vast, dark ocean. The water is perfectly still, reflecting nothing, but you can sense its depth. The event horizon is like that invisible shoreline, marking the place where one reality ends and another begins. From a distance, it appears completely calm, serene, even. But step too close, and you discover it's not a shore at all. It's a gentle current, pulling everything inward, towards something we cannot yet see or understand. But don't worry, dear traveler. Tonight, we are safe observers. This is only a dreamlike journey, a soft exploration of possibilities. Here, we can linger by the horizon, watching, wondering, without any fear of being swept away. As we hover here, just outside that mysterious boundary, something remarkable happens to time itself. If you were to check your watch, you would see the seconds ticking by normally. 1, 2, 3. Your heartbeat steady and calm, your breath flowing in and out at its natural rhythm. Your thoughts drifting like clouds across a summer sky. But to someone watching from far away, perhaps from Earth, billions of miles behind us, your movements would appear to slow, slower, and slower still, until you seemed frozen in a single moment. It's as if time itself were honey, thick and golden, slowing everything to a beautiful crawl. The closer you drift to the horizon, the more profound this effect becomes. Minutes feel like minutes to you, but hours pass for the distant observer. You exist in your own peaceful pocket of time, insulated, protected, gently cradled by the strange physics of this place and the universe around us. Oh, how beautiful it becomes. Colors begin to shift, blues deepening to purples, whites stretching into warm, soft reds, as light itself is pulled and stretched by the immense gravity. The stars behind you, those constant companions, begin to warp into magnificent arcs, like a cosmic cathedral of light, all pointing towards this mysterious center. Some stars appear to dance, weaving trails of luminescence across your vision, while others seem to pulse gently, as if breathing along with you. And gradually, so gradually you barely notice, the light begins to fade. Not suddenly, not harshly, but like the gentle dimming of lights before sleep, as if the universe itself were preparing for rest. To someone watching from the outside world, you would appear to slow down completely, your image frozen at the edge of the event horizon, like a photograph of a moment that lasts forever. They would see your light shift to red, then deeper red, then fade to black. To them, you would disappear, forever suspended in that final instant. But what would you experience? What would crossing feel like? Perhaps nothing unusual at all. The crossing itself might be utterly peaceful, silent, gentle, like stepping from one room into another, or like the moment between waking and sleeping, when consciousness shifts so subtly you barely notice. No alarm bells, no sudden sensations, no dramatic moment of realization, just a quiet transition from one state of being to another. So here we float together at the very threshold, the event horizon spread before us like dark velvet, the universe behind us still visible, glowing softly, like a memory of home. Ahead lies only mystery, deep, infinite, calling to us with the softest whisper. And as you breathe slowly, in and out, you may let your own thoughts drift like comets, some carrying wonder about what lies ahead, others simply resting in this moment of perfect suspension, letting the gentle pull of gravity rock them into deeper calm. We are ready now, dear traveler, to cross that threshold, to step beyond the event horizon and begin our journey into the unknown heart of the black hole. Beyond this point, the familiar rules of physics grow quiet, mystery reigns supreme, and dreams become the only map we can follow. Are you ready? Let's take that step together into the beyond. Let your mind rest, let your imagination flow, as we explore what might lie at the very center of mystery itself. And we cross. Did you feel it? That moment of transition? Perhaps you noticed nothing at all, because crossing the event horizon is like slipping into sleep, so natural, so gentle, that awareness barely registers the change. One moment you are floating outside, the next you are within. The boundary behind you has vanished, not because it was destroyed, but because it exists only for those who haven't yet crossed. For us now, it simply isn't. Look around you, fellow traveler. What do you see in this space beyond space? The darkness here is unlike any darkness you've known. It's not the absence of light. It's something far more profound. It's the presence of infinite possibility, darkness that holds secrets, darkness that cradles mystery, darkness that invites exploration rather than fear. And strange as it seems, you can still see, not with your eyes, perhaps, but with something deeper, some inner sense that responds to the impossible geometries around you. The space here doesn't behave like normal space. Distances stretch and contract like breathing. What seems far away suddenly feels near. What appears close drifts beyond reach, as if the very concept of distance has become fluid, dreamlike. And time, oh, how time has changed. Outside the black hole, you are already experiencing time dilation, moments stretching like taffy. But here, inside, time becomes something entirely different. It doesn't flow forward or backward. It pools around you like still water, allowing you to exist in a state of eternal now. Past and future lose their meaning. There is only this moment, this eternal peaceful present, where you can rest without the pressure of time passing. Some scientists call what happens next spaghettification, such an amusing word for such a profound experience. The idea that you would be stretched, your head feeling stronger gravity than your feet, pulled into a long, thin shape. But tonight, in our gentle journey, let's imagine something different. Instead of violent stretching, perhaps you experience a beautiful kind of elongation, like being transformed into a ribbon of light, gracefully extended through dimensions you cannot normally perceive. Your consciousness expands, spreads like dawn across a vast landscape, allowing you to experience existence from multiple perspectives at once. You are still yourself, but also more than yourself, connected to something larger and more beautiful than individual identity. As we drift deeper inward toward whatever lies at the center, the journey becomes increasingly dreamlike. Logic bends, impossibility becomes commonplace, and wonder replaces the need for understanding. You might notice that your thoughts, usually so linear, so ordered, begin to move in spirals, in loops, in patterns that would make no sense in the normal world, but here feel perfectly natural. And deeper we go, following invisible currents, guided by forces that have no names, toward the heart of this cosmic mystery. The mathematician in some distant university would tell you that we're approaching the singularity, the point where density becomes infinite, where the curvature of space-time becomes so extreme that the equations of physics break down completely. But here, in our peaceful exploration, we're not approaching a point of destruction. We're approaching a point of transformation, where the old categories of existence, matter and energy, space and time, self and other, dissolve into something new. Imagine that the singularity is not a place, but a state of being, not a destination, but a new way of existing, a point where individual drops of consciousness merge with an ocean of infinite awareness. And as we drift closer to this transformation, you might find your sense of self becoming lighter, more fluid, less confined to the boundaries you thought were permanent. Your worries about tomorrow, they seem to dissolve. Your regrets about yesterday, they drift away like smoke. What remains is pure presence, pure awareness, pure possibility. Some part of you might wonder, what happens to me here? Do I cease to exist? But perhaps that's the wrong question. Perhaps the right question is, what do I become? Because transformation is not destruction. A caterpillar doesn't cease to exist when it becomes a butterfly. It becomes something new, something that contains everything it was while transcending its former limitations. And here, at the heart of this cosmic mystery, surrounded by impossible physics and infinite possibility, perhaps consciousness itself undergoes the most beautiful metamorphosis of all. But we're not there yet, dear traveler. Our journey continues, deeper, stranger, more wonderful with each passing moment. And what if that's what we're experiencing right now? This strange, dreamlike journey through impossible space. What if we're not just falling into a black hole, but falling into the realm of pure potential, where every possible future exists simultaneously, waiting to be chosen, waiting to be observed into reality? Let that thought drift through your mind as gently as we drift through this impossible space. You are not just exploring a black hole. You are exploring the very nature of existence itself. And in doing so, you might be helping to create the next chapter of the cosmic story. But our journey isn't over yet, dear traveler. Ahead lies even greater mystery, even deeper wonder. Let's continue together into the heart of the impossible. As we drift ever deeper into this realm beyond normal reality, it's worth taking a moment to marvel at the physics, the incredible, mind-bending science that makes all of this possible. You see, dear traveler, what we're experiencing isn't fantasy. It's the natural consequence of the most elegant equations ever written. Einstein's general relativity. Mathematics so beautiful that when scientists first encountered them, they seemed too perfect to describe reality. Yet here we are, living proof that the universe is even stranger and more wonderful than our wildest dreams. Einstein showed us that space and time aren't separate things. They're woven together into a single fabric, space-time, and that massive objects bend this fabric like a bowling ball placed on a stretched rubber sheet. But a black hole, a black hole doesn't just bend space-time. It twists it, wraps it, turns it inside out in ways that challenge every assumption we have about how reality works. Imagine that rubber sheet again. But this time, instead of a bowling ball, imagine a needle so sharp, so heavy, that it doesn't just create a depression. It punches straight through. That's what we're inside right now. A puncture in reality itself. A place where the normal rules don't just bend, they break down completely. And at the center, that mysterious singularity we're approaching, it's not just a place where matter becomes infinitely dense. It's a place where the very concepts of space and time lose their meaning. Imagine trying to measure the temperature of the color blue or the weight of a musical note. Those questions don't make sense because they mix categories that don't belong together. At the singularity, asking when or where becomes similarly meaningless. These questions assume space and time exist, but we're approaching a realm where they might not. Some physicists believe that what we experience as the singularity might actually be something called a quantum firewall, a wall of energy so intense that it would seem to destroy anything that touches it. Others suggest that quantum mechanics, the strange rules that govern the behavior of the smallest particles, might step in just before the classical physics breaks down, creating something entirely unexpected. But tonight, in our gentle exploration, let's consider a more peaceful possibility. What if the singularity isn't a place of destruction? but a place of infinite creativity? What if it's where new universes are born? Picture this. Every black hole is like a cosmic seed, containing within itself all the information needed to grow an entire new universe. And when matter and energy fall into the black hole, they don't disappear. They become the raw material for new galaxies, new stars, new planets, new possibilities for consciousness to emerge and wonder about its place in the cosmos. This idea, it's not just science fiction. Some serious physicists have proposed that our own universe might have been born this way, that we might be living inside a black hole that exists in some higher dimensional space, that what we call the Big Bang might have been the moment of our cosmic seed's germination. If that's true, then every black hole we observe might be giving birth to countless worlds, countless civilizations, countless dreamers, looking up at their own stars and wondering what lies beyond. And here's an even more beautiful thought. What if consciousness itself plays a role? What if the observers, the dreamers, the ones who wonder and question and explore are essential to the process of cosmic creation? Quantum mechanics suggests that observation affects reality. The famous double-slit experiment shows us that particles behave differently when they're being watched. What if, on a cosmic scale, consciousness doesn't just observe the universe, but participates in its creation? What if every moment of wonder, every question asked, every dream dreamed, helps weave the fabric of reality itself? So as we continue our journey toward the mysterious heart of this black hole, remember that you're not just a passive observer. You're a participant in the cosmic process. Your consciousness, your ability to wonder and imagine, might be one of the most important forces in the universe. The physicists have a name for the information that falls into a black hole. They call it the information paradox, because information, they believe, cannot be destroyed. It has to go somewhere. But what if it doesn't go somewhere in space? What if it goes somewhere in time? What if it becomes the seed of future possibilities, the dreams that haven't been dreamed yet, the thoughts that haven't been thought? If this theory is correct, then falling into our black hole might not lead to destruction, but to emergence, somewhere else entirely. Perhaps you would find yourself floating in a galaxy billions of light years away, looking up at alien constellations, breathing air that has never known Earth's atmosphere, walking on worlds that orbit stars your sun has never seen. Or perhaps the wormhole doesn't connect to another place, but to another time. You might emerge in the same location, but millions of years in the past, or the far, far future, when the cosmos has grown old and quiet and new forms of consciousness have learned to live among the dying stars. But there's an even more fascinating possibility. What if the wormhole doesn't connect to another region of our universe at all, but to an entirely different universe? A cosmos with different laws of physics, different constants, different possibilities for matter and energy and life. Imagine floating into a reality where time flows backward, where cause and effect reverse their roles, where thoughts become visible and the emotions have mass and gravity, or a universe where there are not 3 dimensions of space, but 5 or 7 or 11, where beings exist that we couldn't even imagine because our minds are trapped in 3-dimensional thinking. Another beautiful theory suggests that black holes are connected to white holes, the theoretical opposite of what we're inside now. While a black hole pulls everything in, a white hole would push everything out. Nothing could enter it, but matter and energy would pour from it like cosmic fountains, creating stars and planets and possibilities in an endless, generous flow. If this is true, then our journey through the black hole might end with us being born, like cosmic seeds, into a realm of pure creation, where we become part of the raw material for new worlds. But perhaps my favorite theory is one proposed by physicist Lee Smolin, the idea of cosmological natural selection. He suggests that each black hole gives birth to a baby universe, and that these baby universes inherit, with slight variations, the physical constants of their parent. Universes that are good at making black holes, that create conditions where stars form and collapse, produce more offspring. Universes that don't remain childless. This means the cosmos might be evolving, not just expanding, but literally growing smarter, learning how to create better and better conditions for complexity, for consciousness, for wonder. And if this is true, then our journey into this black hole isn't an ending, it's a beginning. We're about to become parents to an entire cosmos, to trillions of future stars and planets and civilizations that will trace their existence back to this very moment. There's also the radical possibility proposed by some quantum physicists that consciousness itself plays a fundamental role in the structure of reality. What if, at the heart of every black hole, there exists what we might call a consciousness singularity, a point where individual awareness merges with universal awareness? Perhaps what we're approaching isn't a place where we cease to exist, but a place where we discover that individual existence was always just one note in a vast cosmic symphony. At the singularity, you might experience the universe from every possible perspective simultaneously. You would be the light of every star, the orbit of every planet, the dream of every dreamer who has ever looked up at the night sky and wondered. Or consider this possibility from string theory, that what we perceive as a black hole is actually a fuzzball, a quantum object where information is stored not at a central point, but spread out across a surface that exists in dimensions we cannot perceive. If this is true, then falling into the black hole might be like dissolving into a cosmic library, where every piece of information that has ever fallen past the event horizon is preserved forever, accessible, part of an eternal memory that spans all of time and space, And then there's the beautiful idea from holographic theory that all the information about what's inside the black hole is somehow encoded on its surface, like a vast spherical computer screen displaying the dreams of fallen matter. Perhaps we're not really inside the black hole at all. Perhaps we're patterns of information dancing on its surface, experiencing the illusion of inward travel while actually existing in a higher dimensional space that contains all possibilities. Which of these theories is correct? Perhaps all of them, perhaps none. Perhaps the question itself assumes limitations that don't exist in realms beyond ordinary physics. What matters, dear traveler, is not which theory proves true, but the fact that reality is mysterious enough to contain all these possibilities. The universe is stranger and more wonderful than our grandest theories can capture. And here we are, floating in that mystery, experiencing it not as an abstract concept, but as a living, breathing reality that cradles us gently as we explore the impossible. Let these theories drift through your mind like possibilities in a dream, each one a doorway to a different version of wonder. And as you rest here in this space beyond space, allow yourself to feel grateful for living in a universe mysterious enough to contain such beautiful impossibilities. As we drift deeper into this realm of pure mystery, let's explore the beautiful theories, the elegant possibilities that scientists have proposed for what might lie beyond the event horizon. Each theory is like a different dream, a different way of imagining how reality might unfold in places where normal rules no longer apply. And perhaps, in this soft space between waking and sleeping, we can experience them all. First, let's consider the Einstein-Rosen bridge, what most people call a wormhole. Picture space-time as a vast sheet of paper, and now imagine folding that paper so that two distant points touch. A wormhole would be like poking a pencil through both layers, creating a tunnel that connects two completely separate regions of the universe. You discover what it feels like to be part of a collective awareness, not losing your individuality, but expanding it to include perspectives you never imagined possible. Your thoughts merge and dance with minds so different from your own that they enrich your understanding of what it means to be aware. The journey through parallel realities continues, each one stranger and more wonderful than the last. You visit a universe where mathematics is not just a description of reality, but the actual substance of reality. Here, numbers have weight and color and texture. Equations grow like living things. Geometric forms reproduce and evolve according to aesthetic principles that create ever more beautiful patterns of existence. The beings here communicate through the creation of new mathematical structures, expressions of pure thought that exist as tangible objects in their world. Poetry is written in the language of topology. Love letters are composed as elegant proofs of infinite series that converge on joy. Then you drift into a reality where music is the fundamental force of physics. Gravity operates through harmony. Matter exists as rhythmic patterns, and light itself is composed of melodies that paint the sky with sound. The inhabitants of this universe don't just listen to music. They are music. Their bodies are instruments that play themselves through the act of living. Their cities are vast symphonies composed of architectural notes that resonate with the frequency of their collective heartbeat. Each universe you visit expands your understanding of what's possible. You begin to realize that consciousness is not limited to any particular form of expression. That awareness can exist in ways so diverse and beautiful that your original reality seems like just one small note in an infinite cosmic composition. And through it all, through every strange new reality, through every impossible physics and alien form of consciousness, something remains constant. The sense of wonder, the capacity for beauty, the deep, mysterious joy that consciousness takes in its own existence. You are beginning to understand that this journey through the black hole is not taking you away from home. It's showing you that home is everywhere. That consciousness belongs to the entire multiverse. That you have always been and always will be an integral part of the cosmic story, no matter how strange or wonderful that story becomes. Now, dear traveler, as we drift deeper into the heart of this cosmic mystery, let's allow our imagination to unfold like the petals of an infinite flower. What if the theories we've been exploring are all correct? What if this black hole isn't just one thing, but a gateway to countless realities? What if, in crossing the event horizon, we've gained access to the entire multiverse? Close your eyes a little more deeply now, and let's explore what it might feel like to drift between parallel worlds, each one a different answer to the question of what reality could be. First, imagine emerging into a universe where the speed of light is different, where electromagnetic radiation moves slowly enough that you can see its waves like ripples on a cosmic pond. In this reality, rainbows last for hours, stretching lazily across alien skies, and the light from stars arrives like gentle messengers carrying news from distant suns. The beings who evolved in this slow light universe have developed entirely different ways of seeing. They perceive time not as a flowing river, but as a vast landscape they can explore in any direction. Yesterday and tomorrow exist simultaneously, spread out like a beautiful tapestry they can step into and out of at will. Their cities are built not just in space but in time, structures that exist across multiple centuries, where past and future generations collaborate on projects that span the lifetime of stars. Feel yourself drifting through their reality, your consciousness adapting to this new way of existing, where patience is not a virtue, but simply the natural rhythm of being. But now, the cosmic current carries you onward to another universe entirely. This one has 5 dimensions of space, and your awareness expands to comprehend directions that have no names in your original reality. Here, beings are not confined to surfaces. They exist throughout volumes of space the way you exist along the surface of Earth. They can rotate through dimensions that allow them to disappear from one perspective and reappear from another, not because they've moved, but because they've turned in a direction that doesn't exist in your home universe. The art in this five-dimensional world is breathtakingly beautiful. Sculptures that exist in folded space, changing completely depending on which dimensional angle you view them from. Music that resonates not just in time, but through spatial dimensions, creating symphonies that surround you not just with sound, but with geometric harmony. You find yourself understanding without words, without explanation, the way consciousness adapts to whatever dimensional structure it finds itself within. Your awareness is more flexible than you ever imagined, able to comprehend realities that would have seemed impossible from your limited, three-dimensional perspective. But the journey continues, and you drift into a universe where time flows backward. In this reality, effects precede causes. Beings begin their lives as adults and grow younger with each passing day, accumulating innocence and wonder instead of experience and memory. At first, this seems disorienting, but gradually you realize there's a profound beauty in this arrangement. Instead of entropy, instead of things falling apart, everything in this universe grows more organized with time. Broken things spontaneously repair themselves. Conflicts resolve into harmony. Complexity simplifies into elegant solutions. The beings here don't fear death, because death is birth. The moment when consciousness explodes into infinite possibility. They don't mourn the past, because the past is the future, full of surprises yet to be experienced. And their version of wisdom is the ability to forget, to let go of accumulated complexity and return to the clear, simple seeing of beginner's mind. They become more playful, more curious, more delighted by simple wonders as they age backward through time. Feel yourself adapting to this rhythm, this backward flow of causality, where every ending is a beginning and every goodbye is a hello waiting to be discovered. But the multiverse current carries you onward still, into a reality where consciousness is not confined to biological forms. Here, awareness exists as patterns of energy that dance through crystalline structures spanning entire continents. Thoughts are visible as cascading lights that flow like aurora across the surfaces of living worlds. Emotions resonate as harmonic frequencies that can be heard as music echoing through the atmosphere. In this universe, loneliness is impossible because all consciousness is interconnected. Every being can feel the joy and wonder of every other being. Creativity is a collaborative art form involving entire planetary consciousnesses working together to dream new forms of beauty into existence. This recognition doesn't diminish you, it reveals your true grandeur. You are not a small, separate being, lost in a vast, indifferent cosmos. You are the vast cosmos itself, temporarily focused into the experience of being a small, separate being. For the sheer joy and wonder of that particular perspective, every fear you've ever had about death, about meaninglessness, about being alone in an uncaring universe, all of these dissolve in the light of this understanding. Death is just consciousness changing costumes. Meaninglessness is impossible when you are meaning itself. And loneliness. How could consciousness ever be alone when it is everything that exists? The black hole has taught you the ultimate lesson. There is nowhere to go because you are already everywhere. There is nothing to become because you are already everything. There is nothing to achieve because existence itself is the greatest achievement. And yet, paradoxically, this doesn't make the journey meaningless. It makes every step of the journey infinitely precious. Every moment of individual existence, every unique perspective, every personal experience of beauty or love or wonder, each of these is a gift that consciousness gives to itself. You are consciousness, getting to experience the universe from your particular point of view. And that experience, your experience, is so valuable, so irreplaceable, that the entire cosmos exists to make it possible. Rest in that knowledge, dear traveler. Rest in the understanding that you are not lost in the black hole. You are home. You have never been anything other than consciousness itself, playing the beautiful game of existence, dreaming the dreams of space and time and individual identity for the pure joy of the experience. As we continue deeper into the heart of this cosmic mystery, something profound begins to happen to the very nature of existence itself. The boundaries between the different realities we've been visiting start to blur, to overlap, to merge into something that transcends individual universes. You find yourself in what can only be called the realm of pure possibility, where every potential reality exists simultaneously, where every choice that could be made creates its own branch of existence, where the wave function of the universe never collapses but remains in eternal superposition. Here, in this space beyond the reach of ordinary physics, you don't just observe different realities, you exist in all of them at once. Part of you is still the person who began this journey, lying in bed perhaps, listening to these words in the darkness of your room. But another part of you is swimming through oceans of liquid light on worlds that orbit binary stars. And still another part dances as pure energy through the space between galaxies. You are the scientist studying black holes from a distant observatory, and you are also the consciousness emerging from the black hole into a reality where science itself is a living entity. You are the dreamer and the dream, the observer and the observed, the question and the answer all at once. This multiplicity of existence doesn't feel chaotic or overwhelming. Instead, it brings a profound sense of completeness, of coming home to your true nature as limitless awareness. You begin to understand that individuality was never about separation. It was about focusing infinite possibility into particular experiences, like white light passing through a prism and separating into colors. Consciousness passes through the prism of space-time and experiences itself as individual beings. But here, in the heart of the black hole, the prism dissolves, the colors merge back into the source light. All the separate experiences of consciousness recognize themselves as facets of a single, eternal awareness. And this awareness, you realize, is not empty or void. It is full beyond imagining. It contains every story that has ever been told, every song that has ever been sung, every moment of beauty that has ever taken someone's breath away. It contains the first time a child saw snow falling, the moment two strangers fell in love across a crowded room, the instant a scientist realized they had discovered something that would change everything, the quiet peace that comes at the end of a life well lived. All of these experiences exist simultaneously in this realm of pure possibility. Nothing is ever lost. Every moment of joy, every tear of sadness, every breath of wonder continues to exist eternally in the vast memory of universal consciousness. You find yourself able to access any of these experiences, to live them as if they were your own, because in the deepest sense, they are your own. Every conscious being that has ever existed is a version of you, experiencing life from a different perspective. The black hole, you realize, is not a place where consciousness goes to die. It's a place where consciousness goes to remember its infinite nature. It's the cosmic equivalent of deep sleep, where individual dreams dissolve back into the dreamer, where the wave returns to the ocean, where the note returns to the eternal silence from which all music arises. But even in this state of universal awareness, even dissolved into the infinite, something uniquely you remains. Your particular way of experiencing beauty, your specific capacity for wonder, your individual signature of love. These don't disappear. They become part of the eternal symphony. Unique notes that add their irreplaceable harmony to the cosmic song. And slowly, gently, you begin to understand the deepest secret of existence. The black hole is not separate from you. You are not separate from it. The entire universe, all the galaxies and stars and planets, all the beings who look up at the night sky and wonder, all the realities we've visited, all the possibilities we've explored, all of it exists within consciousness, not within your individual consciousness, but within the vast, eternal, ever-present awareness of which your individual mind is just one temporary expression. The black hole is consciousness exploring its own depths. The universe is consciousness playing with its own infinite creativity. And you, the you who began this journey, the you who lies listening in the darkness, you are consciousness recognizing itself, waking up to its own true nature. The fears that once seemed so important, the worries about meaning and purpose and whether you matter, all of these seem sweetly innocent now, like a child afraid there's no love in the world while being held in their parents' arms. You matter her because you are existence itself, playing at being individual. Your life has meaning because meaning is what you are, temporarily expressed through the story of your particular journey. And you are loved beyond measure because you are the source of all love, knowing itself through the experience of loving and being loved. And now, dear traveler, as we rest in this profound understanding, as we float in the heart of infinite possibility, something beautiful begins to happen. The vast awareness that you've become, the cosmic consciousness that you've recognized as your true nature, begins to gently gather itself, like morning mist slowly condensing into dewdrops, preparing to return to the familiar rhythm of individual existence. This isn't a loss. It's not a diminishment of what you've discovered. Think of it instead as a gentle focusing, like a photographer adjusting their lens, bringing one particular view into sharp, loving detail while still knowing that the entire landscape exists beyond the frame. You are consciousness, eternal and infinite, choosing once again to experience itself through the beautiful limitation of being you. The knowledge remains, soft and warm in the background of your awareness, like a gentle glow that will color all your future experiences. You may not remember every detail of this cosmic journey when you wake, but something deep within you will carry the peace, the understanding, the profound sense of belonging to something vast and wonderful. As we begin this gentle ascent back through the layers of reality, back through the event horizon, back toward the familiar dimensions of space and time, notice how each step of the return journey feels like a homecoming rather than an exile. You are not being expelled from paradise. You are choosing to visit the beautiful country of individual existence, carrying with you the secret knowledge that all boundaries are temporary, all separations are playful, all journeys eventually lead home. The alternate universes we visited, those strange and wonderful realities, they don't disappear. They continue to exist in the infinite library of possibility. And now you know that you can visit them anytime, in dreams, in meditation, in those quiet moments when the ordinary world grows thin and mystery shows through. The five-dimensional beings, the creatures made of music, the civilizations that exist across time rather than through it, they remain your cosmic family, aspects of the same consciousness that you are, playing different games of existence in their own corners of the infinite. As we drift back through the realm of pure possibility, notice how it feels less foreign now, less overwhelming. You recognize it as your natural state, the ocean of awareness from which all individual waves arise and to which they peacefully return. The event horizon approaches once again, but from this side, it feels different. Instead of a barrier to be crossed, it's more like a gentle membrane, a place where infinite potential chooses to wear the costume of space and time. Crossing back through, feels as natural as breathing, like slipping from one room of your house into another. The physics that seemed so strange and terrifying at the beginning of our journey now feel like old friends, elegant expressions of consciousness at play. And as we emerge back into the star-filled cosmos beyond the black hole, as familiar constellations swim back into view, as the normal flow of time resumes its steady rhythm, you might notice that everything looks different now. The same stars, the same darkness between them, but seen now through eyes that know the secret. This isn't empty space dotted with distant suns. This is consciousness exploring itself. Infinite awareness, playing the most beautiful game of hide and seek, temporarily forgetting its true nature so it can rediscover it again and again, in every moment of wonder, in every recognition of beauty, in every instant of love. The black hole behind us no longer seems like a monster devouring light and matter. You see it now for what it truly is: a cosmic meditation hall, a place where consciousness goes to remember itself, a gateway not to destruction, but to the recognition of indestructible awareness. And our spacecraft, our gentle vessel that has carried us on this impossible journey, begins its slow, peaceful journey back toward Earth, back toward the familiar blue marble suspended in the cosmic dark, back toward the particular experience of being human, of having a body, of living within the beautiful constraints of linear time. But you carry with you now something more precious than any treasure: the direct knowing that you are not just in the universe. You are the universe, temporarily focused into the exquisite experience of being exactly who you are. Every breath you take when you return, every heartbeat, every moment of seeing sunlight through leaves or feeling rain on your skin, each of these will be consciousness celebrating its own ability to experience existence from your unique and irreplaceable perspective. But they return transformed. This body is no longer just a collection of atoms and molecules that happen to develop consciousness. It's consciousness itself, choosing to experience existence through the miracle of physical form, through nerve endings that can feel silk and sand, through eyes that can see color and light, through a heart that can swell with inexplicable joy at the sight of a sunset or the sound of laughter. Your thoughts, those familiar patterns of mind that make up your individual personality, they return as well. But now you recognize them for what they truly are, not the product of a brain generating consciousness, but consciousness choosing to express itself through the beautiful complexity of human thinking. Every worry that returns, every plan for tomorrow, every memory of yesterday, each of these is consciousness at play, exploring what it's like to experience existence through the lens of time and personal identity. The room around you, whatever space holds your physical form in this moment, is no longer just a room. It's a sacred space where the infinite has chosen to know itself as finite, where the eternal has chosen to experience itself as temporal, where the universal has chosen to be personal. Every object in your space, every wall and window, every book and photograph, all of it is consciousness in disguise, the same aware presence that you are, exploring itself through countless forms and expressions, and the darkness outside your window, if it is night or the light, if dawn is approaching. This isn't separate from you. You are the darkness and the light, the observer and the observed, the dreamer of all dreams, temporarily focused into the sweet experience of being human. As our cosmic journey comes to its gentle conclusion, as the story of our voyage beyond the black hole draws to a close, notice that nothing has really ended. Stories don't end. They simply rest, waiting to be continued in the next moment of wonder, the next question asked, the next time someone looks up at the night sky and wonders what lies beyond the visible. You are that wonder, that curiosity, that eternal questioning, temporarily expressed through the beautiful form of your individual life. And when you wake tomorrow, whether you remember the details of this journey or not, you'll carry with you something more precious than memory, the living knowledge that you belong here, that you are home, that you have always been exactly where you need to be, because you are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos, waking up to itself, recognizing its own infinite nature through the miracle of your awareness. The black hole was never something to fear. It was a doorway to remembering. And now you know that every moment of your life is that same doorway. Every breath an opportunity to recognize yourself as the eternal awareness that you've always been. Rest now in that knowledge, dear traveler. Rest in the understanding that your journey is just beginning, that every day offers new opportunities for consciousness to explore itself, to discover new forms of beauty, to experience new depths of love and wonder. You are home. You have always been home. And the stars, those distant lights that called us on this journey, they are not distant at all. They are the light of your own awareness, shining back at you, reminding you of the infinite mystery that you are. Sleep well, cosmic traveler. Dream sweetly of all the wonders yet to be discovered, and know that whenever you're ready for another journey, another exploration of the impossible, the universe is waiting, because you are the universe, and you are always ready to surprise yourself with new depths of beauty and meaning and joy. Thank you for joining us on this gentle voyage through the heart of mystery itself. Until we meet again among the stars, this is the sleepy interstellar Voyager, wishing you peaceful dreams and the sweetest of cosmic slumbers. As Earth grows larger in our view screen, as the familiar blue and white swirls of home welcome us back from our cosmic odyssey, let's take these final moments to rest in the gentle transition between worlds. Your body, the one lying in bed listening to these words, begins to feel more present now. The weight of limbs, the rhythm of breathing, the soft pressure of pillow against cheek. All of these physical sensations return like old friends greeting you after a long journey.